3 days ago, the world stopped to remember her. Not with grief this time, with something quieter, something deeper. 100 candles for a woman who never needed anyone to light the room for her. She did that herself. For 70 years. The woman the world thought it knew. Queen Elizabeth II was many things to many people. A monarch, a symbol, a constant in a world that never stopped changing. Her son described her as someone who remained constant, steadfast, and wholly devoted through decades of transformation. But behind the composure, behind the hats and the handbags, and the smile that never gave anything away, there was a woman, a mother, a grandmother, someone who watched her family fracture and rebuild, and fracture again, and never stopped believing it could be held together. What she built, Elizabeth didn't just build a reign, she built a family. In the most complicated circumstances imaginable, under the brightest spotlight in the world, under the weight of an institution that has always demanded more than any human being should give. She became queen at just 25 years old, before she was finished becoming herself. And she served for 70 years, without ever once publicly wavering. That is not just duty. That is a kind of love that most people never fully understood, until she was gone. What she would see today, if Elizabeth could see her family today, she would recognize some things immediately. She would see Charles, her son, who said she would have been troubled deeply by the world we now live in, carrying a weight she always knew was too large for one person, but never told him that, because she understood that some burdens cannot be lightened. They can only be carried with grace. She would see William, the grandson she trusted most, standing in rooms she once stood in, and handling them in ways that would make her quietly proud, not loudly. Elizabeth was never loud about pride, but in the way she used to glance sideways at the people she believed in. That glance would find William, more often than most, the fracture she never spoke about. And then there's the part that would sit heaviest, the distance, the silence between branches of a family that she spent her entire life trying to hold together. Elizabeth never spoke publicly about Harry and Meghan's departure. She never took sides. She never pointed fingers. She simply, in the way only she could, absorbed it, carried it privately, managed it with the same composure she brought to every crisis in 70 years of them. But those who knew her best say it affected her more deeply than she ever showed, because Elizabeth understood, better than anyone alive, that institutions can survive scandals. Institutions can survive controversy, but families, real families, are far more fragile than any crown. The message she left. On her very first public broadcast at just 14 years old, a young Princess Elizabeth said that each of us can play our part to make the world of tomorrow a better and happier place. She was 14, and she already understood. The only thing that ever truly mattered. Not power, not position, not the weight of a crown, or the sweep of a reign. Just the daily, quiet, faithful decision to make things better. Then you found them. She kept that promise for 80 years. And now, a new national charity bearing her name has been launched with the simple aim of preserving green spaces and community centers, the kinds of places where ordinary people live ordinary lives. The lives Elizabeth always said she was there to serve. What she would want. Elizabeth would not want tears today. She never did. She would want the family to find its way back to each other. She would want Charles to find moments of peace inside the weight he carries. She would want William to remember that duty and humanity are not opposites. She proved that for 70 years. She would want the children, George, Charlotte, Louis, to grow up knowing that the crown is not the most important thing they will ever inherit. The values underneath it are. And she would want the world to know, the world that stopped for one day, to light 100 candles for her, that she saw them, all of them, every ordinary person, whoever stood on a street corner and waved a small flag and felt something they couldn't explain. She saw them. And she was grateful. Every single day. Celebrities Style 247, where royal history becomes human. If Queen Elizabeth could send one message to her family today, what do you think she would say? Tell us in the comments. And if this moved you, someone in your life needs to see this today.